From VentureX Studios, it's JP, Kathy, and the crew.
Man, good morning. It is Friday, and you know I'm in a great mood because I'm going to get to talk today. I'm like super excited because guess what? That's right. In that picture next to me, you don't see Kathy. Now, I love Kathy. Don't get me wrong, but I get to talk today. Or do I, Latham?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Latham, he's like, oh, yeah, I'm going to let you talk.
Sure. I mean, I'm used to it, man. I live with three women.
Yeah, good luck.
You know.
Yeah. I've lived with two.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I get what you're saying. Hey, Kathy's on her way to Boston. Got a cute picture of her and CJ. They are getting ready for the Berkeley School of Music summer camp. Did you ever go to summer camp?
You know, I never did.
You never got to go to summer camp?
I never did.
You were deprived.
I lived out in the country, so living where I was kind of like being at camp all the time. Like, you never knew what was going to happen.
I don't know. There were girls at camp.
I mean, that's true.
There were girls. I mean, I was,
a small town, in the summertime, you go and you cruising,
right,
where you get in the car and you drive the same couple of blocks.
Who does that anymore?
Like, you just drive around for like
circles,
2 or 3 hours at a time, like make the loop around Sonic, come down, turn into the Walmart parking lot, turn around. You just do that for hours. Like,
did you ever notice, though, you never lost gas? It seemed like gas never went away when you did that.
Amazing.
Yeah, that loop never cost you to, like, go to half a tank.
Yeah, it's like a glitch in the Matrix or something.
A glitch in the Matrix. It was indeed. Well, I'll tell you what, today is Friday, and it is going to be a good day today. We have got Latham. He's going to come on. He's going to join me, hang out with me today while Kathy is gone. We're going to talk about the fact that freedom is still alive and well in this country, and with good men like Latham and his group over at First Liberty, we can continue to promise that religious freedom throughout this country, and not even necessarily Christian freedom. We're talking about religious freedom in general.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, First Liberty Institute, we represent people of all faiths all over the country. Anywhere people are just trying to live according to what they believe in a way that is in keeping with the law and the Constitution, we'll defend their right to do so. That's what the First Amendment's all about. And
so don't forget you can donate. I always like to hit them up for this because I like what you all do. And so where do they go on your website to donate to the cause?
FirstLiberty.org, right at the top of the page. There's a button that says donate, and there's a button that says get legal help. They're right there next to each other. So if you need us, click the get legal help button. If you want to help us, click the donate button. No client ever gets a bill because we are supported by generous donors like your viewers. So we appreciate that.
Absolutely. And of course, it's fun. Social media is being attacked by Donald Trump and now being attacked by, do you know who's joining that lawsuit?
I don't know that I've heard that.
My goodness gracious. I'll have to get that for you.
Okay.
I always say it wrong. CPAC? Did I say it right?
Yeah.
Yeah. CPAC has joined.
Oh, okay.
In that fight. And so they were on this morning on the news talking about that. I always wanted to call them CPAP because I have a CPAP machine. It's like, no, it's CPAC.
The CPAP conventions
in town. CPAP conventions in town. Let me go get my hose and run.
People walking around with masks and talking like Darth Vader.
Yeah. That's fun, though, man. I'll tell you what, it's kind of exciting. I feel like I'm at a Comic-Con, but it's for CPAP machines. I'm at a CPAP-a-mom. Right. I don't even know if that's a real thing. It probably is not a real thing. But no, CPAC has joined the fight. Why do I talk about that? Because like right now we're on Facebook, right?
Right.
But they've not sent a single thing out to anybody. So you and I are talking to each other.
Hey, well,
I like
anyway.
that. Yeah, who doesn't show up at 8 o'clock in the morning and want to talk to each other?
Sure.
Absolutely. How's your coffee?
Guy.
Your coffee good?
Yeah.
Mine's not. I didn't get any today. What was I thinking? So, no. Going to attack the big boys. And for exact reasons like this, where JP, Kathy, and their crew gets ghosted. Or no, not ghosted. I think they call it shadowed.
Yeah, shadow banned.
Yeah, shadow banned by Facebook. And so here we sit. Even though we are live, I know that the messages have not gone out yet. And so it's amazing to me that can continue to happen. Hopefully we are ready to launch off of YouTube, and that'll be a friendlier base, I'm hoping, for us as well. But so what are your thoughts on that? I mean, do they have anything in that lawsuit, or are we just pushing buttons at this point?
Yeah, it's a very, very interesting question, and it's one that has been sort of bandied about for a while now. And there's a lot of different theories. You've got some that will say, well, Facebook, Twitter, Google, these are private companies, and you don't have to use their service, and a private company's got a right to run their company the way they want to run it. There are some that are saying that these companies have become sort of so ubiquitous in the way that we live our life that they should be treated like common carriers, like telephone companies, like internet providers. Back in the day, would have been like railroads, or and that therefore they can be regulated. Then you get into Section 230 stuff. There's antitrust theories.
That's the one that's I'm hearing that's kind of the prevailing hit.
I think that's probably, if anything is going to get done by the government towards these companies, I think it's likely either going to be an antitrust case for somebody like Google, who is, it's sort of the equivalent of the old AT&T or a Ma Bell before they broke up.
Right.
And then, but then there's also a theory where, and some of the state attorneys general have pursued some of this on like a consumer protection theory, like consumer fraud, basically, where Facebook, Twitter, Google are saying, Facebook and Twitter, these are open forums and anybody can come on here and you can say whatever you want, but then they come in and they regulate content.
Right.
And so there's a theory that says, well, that's actually consumer fraud. You're claiming to be something, but you're acting as something else. Like you're defrauding your customer.
Right.
And the thing that I always remind people is, especially talking about, like social media, Facebook and Twitter or whatever, and you need to understand, like, you, the user, you're not their product, or you're not their consumer, their customer. You are their product.
Right.
It's all of those advertisers, all those ads that you see in your Facebook feed or on Twitter or whatever. Those people are their customers, and what they are selling actually to those people is access to you. You, the user of those things, are actually the product that they are marketing. They are holding themselves out as, hey, I can give you access to these billion people or however many that use Facebook or whatever. So there's a lot of different theories. I think it's going to be very interesting to see how the lawsuits play out, what legal theories that they advance in the suits, and how the courts deal with it. So.
Well, I know that it's interesting from the standpoint that you've hit it right on the head. And now they have to tell you that, hey, can we go ahead and submit your information for target advertising?
Right.
Right, because I got that message last night. I was on Hopper or something like that. I just downloaded it, or it was going to Facebook or something, and they said, hey, we use this to target ads. Can we use your... And I'm like, right. No. I'm tired of seeing ads and all the pop-ups. And so it's interesting that it's okay for you to exploit me, but it's not okay for me to say my mind and then let me go ahead and trend and be out there.
Yeah.
One of the things CPAC was complaining about was in 2015 that they had a rally where over 31 million people viewed the rally when Donald Trump was announcing his presidency and revving everything up, right? Yeah. And the next thing you know, they were shut down and not allowed to be on Facebook. And you can't find that speech anymore. Right. They said. So, really, when you advertise yourself to be one thing, but you're another, curiously, I know it's probably going to be more of a federal issue than a state issue. Yeah. But on a state side, could you not enjoin a Deceptive Trade Practices Act?
Yeah, I think so. I think some of the state attorneys general, that's the line that they're sort of pursuing, is that we have a responsibility to protect the consumer here in our state, and that these practices constitute consumer fraud. And so I think some of the states attorneys general may be going down that road. Google, I think, is probably, if any of those big three are susceptible to an antitrust argument, it's probably Google. Because they are the 800-pound gorilla in the room when it comes to internet searches. What other? Yes, they can say, well, there's other search engines. Right. Well, tell me another one whose company name is used as a verb in this country.
Right. Yahoo is not.
Right.
Yeah.
It's Google, and everybody else is a distant second.
Yeah.
And so if anybody's going to be come under some sort of antitrust litigation, it would likely be Google. Now you still have to go and sort of show maybe some anti-competitive practices that they've done.
Well, I'm sure there are. There's got to be plenty of ways where you've paid to be up at the top of a search.
Ask
and
Parler.
You end up at the bottom.
Ask Parler about anti-competitive practices.
Right. Boy, and that's the truth. Yeah.
It's gonna be interesting.
And Guzman said, did Florida already use that?
On the consumer protection thing?
I'm guessing that's what we're saying.
I know Paxton was pursuing it at one point. I don't know if Texas still is. There were several state AGs that were looking into it. So.
Well, we have a great show for you. You know, Latham and I just kind of kicked it off. We're going to have the sharing the love part. If you've read the title, you're like, what do you mean by sharing the love? Well, here locally, right, in fact, here in Venture X, somebody that I get to see every day that's delightful to see and talk to, she and her partner have, or who she works with, have a little company, a little podcasting company that they do. And so we're going to bring them on and talk to them. They're doing a little network thing as well. And so, hey, we're not here to get rid of you. We want to join you.
Sure.
Let's share information and share people and have a good time. And so I'm all about that. So we're going to have them come on here shortly. Again, Latham's going to talk to us about why, when I say that liberty or Christian liberty or religious liberty prevails again, he's going to talk about that and what that means. And I'm going to tell you why I left a certain name out of that so that we don't take the brunt of whoever's out there fishing for us on that deal. Right. But bigger than that, I mean, this is actually bigger than all of that. You know, to heck with Google, to heck with Twitter, to heck with all that. Who in the world adds chili and lime and salt to their watermelon? And so that's the big question today. Melon by itself, watermelon or honeydew or cantaloupe, versus I'm going to douse it with a bunch of Tajin, chili, lime, and salt. So how do you eat your melon? Latham, what is this, dude? This sounds like a revolution or something.
Yeah, I think there definitely needs to be a congressional inquiry into this. Like we used to have the old House Committee on Un-American Activities, you know, the McCarthy era.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure if Joe McCarthy had heard that there were people putting chili lime salt on watermelon, they likely would have ended up on a list somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, and who does this? Watermelon by itself, that's good enough for me.
Absolutely.
So I'm a melon guy by itself.
Yeah.
Don't throw a bunch of garbage on that.
Yeah.
So, but Tajin, and then that name, you know, Tajin. First of all, I read that, and it almost sounds Arabic versus
I don't know what
Hispanic.
That is. Yeah.
It's Hispanic is what it is. But I mean, again, what do? You know, feel free to chime in over here on the Restream chat through Facebook or YouTube or Twitter, or you can talk to us through Twitch. But do you put salt on your melon? Let us know. I do not. I'm a melon guy straight up, and that's the way I like to have it. I don't want to put a bunch of stuff on it. Now, I remember when my grandparents, though, and my great-grandparents would add a little salt to their watermelon.
Yeah, I was going to say, I do remember, you know, being around people, you know, growing up, yeah, you see them add a little salt to it. I never really got that. I was like, this is sweet. Why do you want to add salt to it? This is like God's candy. You
Exactly.
know, why you want to salt something that is intended to be sweet? But I do
exactly.
But yeah. I mean, I grew up around people that did, you know, throw a little salt on there, but that's all. I mean, none of this other nonsense.
Yeah, I mean.